Hello everybody, and welcome to this sort of beginner's guide to Don't Starve Shipwrecked. I just want to have a sort of disclaimer at the beginning of the video that I am not an expert at Don't Starve. So there are people who have built bases that are thousands of days old, and I am not one of those people. And if you are one of those people, you're not going to get a lot out of these videos. But if you're just starting Don't Starve, or you're sort of just getting into Shipwrecked, then I think this will be a nice sort of overview of what you can do to make it through your first few seasons, or your years, or whatever. I'm going to pick Walani, because Walani is actually just the Wilson of Shipwrecked. So, oh, whoops, that's a mod character. We don't need to see that. Wilson is pretty much the generic, you know, all his stats are okay character. But he's not actually that good in Shipwrecked compared to Reign of Giants, because his big perk is the beard, and the Shipwrecked equivalent of winter, which is the second season, is hurricane season. And in hurricane season, freezing is not something you need to be overly concerned about unless you get like soaked with water. So the beard doesn't actually provide him all that much, besides, you know, beard hair, which he can use to make meat effigies and whatnot. But the way the beard works during dry season, it'll make him overheat faster. So if you're just starting out and you have a favorite character, pick that character. Because, like, my favorite characters are Wendy and Wigfrid and Walani. So Wendy's actually pretty good in Shipwrecked. I'm sure you could make a case for every character being good in Shipwrecked. But for this video series, we're going to be with Walani, the Unperturbable. And the way Walani works is she spawns with a surfboard, which she's carrying here. And she can craft surfboards with just a board and seashells. And it's basically her own personal vessel, which is why she gets such a quick start in Shipwrecked, because, you know, you have to island hop. That's how you get all your resources. You start on a small island, there are lots of other islands, and you need to travel between them with a raft, or whatever. Her other perks are that she dries off quickly. She dries off, I believe, 20% faster than every other character. And that's pretty good because there are these things called waves in Shipwrecked. You know what? I'm just going to start it and explain it to you. There are waves. And if you hit a wave the right way, you'll get a speed boost on your vessel. But if you hit a wave the wrong way, you'll instead damage your vessel by, like, it's small. I think it's 5 points for the little waves and 15 points for the big waves. But you'll also be, you know, splashed, and your wetness meter will go up. I think it's 20 per wave. And the way Walani works is, if you hit waves, you'll dry off faster than other characters, and because of that, even if you hit a certain threshold, where normally, if you're a certain amount of wet, all of your items will start getting wet, and if you're wearing any, it'll cause a drain on your sanity. The way Walani works is she will dry off quick enough that her items won't get wet just from 2 waves, which is great, because, you know, you're liable to hit waves. And her last perk is that she has a different sanity modifier than most characters, where she gains and loses about 0.9 times sanity from any overtime source, but it doesn't affect instant, you know, gains or losses. So starting off, her health is lower than Wilson's by about 30. Her hunger is higher by about 50. By about, I mean, you know, exactly. And her hunger actually drains faster. I think it's 20% as well. And this averages out to where she gets like an extra half day before she has to eat. Anyway, I'm not talking about gameplay. Basically, you start on an island, and you want to collect as much grass and twigs as you can. More grass than twigs. So once you get a full stack of 40 twigs, you can pretty much stop. But grass, you're going to want a lot more. And you need flint as well. Flint is super important. And limpets are going to be a food source after a couple of days, so grab them as well. And what we want to focus on is efficient resource gathering. You don't want to spend all your time getting things that you don't need. Like, for instance, Walani actually does like seashells a lot, but you don't need them right now. Because seashells help her build boards, but since I don't have the ability to make boards, it's really unnecessary for me to bother with it. So as you explore the island, just pick up everything on the way that you see. Seeds are useful. Limpets, obviously. The bird just ate these seeds. Also, you should hold Alt and left-click on everything. Because not only is this just, you know, giving you more insight into the character's personality, but it also will give you a hint as to what items do. So if you're just starting out, it's a good way to, you know, learn more about the world. What you want to do is make an axe, obviously. Because you want to make a thatch pack, which is basically just a worse backpack. And you also want coconuts, because eventually coconuts are going to be your, like, long-term food source. Because they keep a really long time, and you can stack up to 40. So eventually, you know, when you run out of limpets and whatnot, you can cook all your coconuts and eat them. But basically, you just spend the whole first day exploring this starting island and grabbing everything you can. These crates and that, you know, thing the parrot was on at the start, those are going to be important later, but we don't need to worry about it just yet. As Walani, you actually have the choice to just not worry about vines and bamboo to start, and that's because your surfboard lets you travel islands immediately, whereas everybody else needs to build their own raft, which is in the nautical tab. The log raft is very slow, but the actual raft is a bit faster. No gold on the starting island, which is not surprising, because there almost never is. And don't worry about snakes or anything, just avoid them on day one. Oh, I forgot. I can make my thatch pack. Thatch pack is nice, it just gives you an extra 4 inventory slots, which will tide you over until you get your first gold. Here we're just looking to try to map out the island. This is actually a larger island than I would say is normal. Probably because it had that bridge in the middle. So I'd say this is atypical. Generally speaking, you want grass and twigs and flint and a stack of logs. All the coconuts and limpets you find that you can carry. Oh, and rocks. Rocks are good too. Wow, this is actually a really large island. Oh, I don't think I mentioned it before, but we are in the new Shipwrecked beta. So a few things changed. If you didn't play Shipwrecked before, none of the changes really will matter all that much to you. If you did play Shipwrecked before, then most of the changes can be summed up as new sea buildings, a new resource called tar, which is used as crafting and fuel, and a new enemy type called crocodogs, which replace the hounds and sea hounds for the most part. I think sea hounds were added back in. But a lot of stuff changed with the way dolphins are, in the world, and the way floaty boaty knights spawn, stuff like that. But for now, you can just ignore it. It's the first day. There's a wild boar. Wow, this island is huge. This is like really not what normally happens. Like I said, you're going to want a lot of grass, so don't be afraid to pick multiple stacks of it, even if you have a full 40 on it. Nighttime, you need to make a torch, otherwise the grue will eat you. Don't bother making a fire day one, because what you want to do is when you make your first fire, it should be to cook all your food, because it'll fill up your hunger more. And if you can avoid it, you want to wait until your hunger is the lowest possible, so that way, you can fill it up and not have to worry about it for a longer amount of time. So with this amount of rocks, we can actually make a hammer, but I'm not going to do that yet because I want to find gold for a science machine first. And we have daylight again. And of course, saving causes a lot of lag. If you don't know, wild boars are basically passive creatures, unless you annoy them by, moving too close to them too many times. So try not to do that, because then they'll just run up and punch you in the face. For the most part, they will simply wander around and do nothing, eat food on the ground. If they see spiders or snakes, they'll fight them. You can largely ignore them at the beginning of the game. A butterfly? Perhaps we can... Nope. You can punch butterflies and just get their wings as a food item. No big deal. This is, like, surprisingly large for an island that you start on. I could surf over there right away. I'm not going to do that just yet. I want to make sure that I explore the rest of this place. Make sure there's not any gold just lurking anywhere. So the only places gold will spawn will be on these jungle terrains or on the magma terrains, which won't show up on your starting island. But for the most part, there's almost never going to be gold on the starting island either. These bushes, if you hear a little hiss and see a shake, they're snake dens, and if you go next to snake dens, they end up spawning a snake. Snakes are not hard to run away from, so feel free to simply walk away. Alright, so this was pretty good. We got a lot of grass. There's actually just a ton of grass here. This is a weird island. Anyway, we explored it all, found everything we needed to, and now we simply leave. This is what makes Walani such a strong character, is she starts with a circlet. Ah, see. Here's a Ballfin Palace. These are new to the beta. Basically pig houses for dolphins. If I'm not mistaken, the other island was down here. Yep. And lucky for me, there's a jungle terrain here, which means that there might just be some gold. Oh, primates. Never a good sign. Ah, there we go. So, once you find gold, you're going to want to mine it right away, because that gives you access to the science machine. And the science machine is how you're going to get a ton of stuff done. First, let's just do a bit more exploring. I'm actually going to make a another axe, because I'm going to need more logs, actually. I think I need about 8 more grass to do what I'm planning to do. Ah, see, there's that first primate. If you can, try not to make it a follower. And the way it'll start to be a follower is if you get too close and it latches onto you. I think I actually grabbed too much grass. But that's okay. Actually, I needed to grab more grass so that I can make this. Alright. So, what you're going to want to do for your first season, which is mild season, is explore the map. Explore everything you can. You want to fill out as much of it as possible. And the reason for that is that mild season is exactly that, mild. And you don't have a lot of things to worry about as far as worldly dangers go. So it gives you the most freedom to just move about the map and find everything. Beehive? That's nice. I think we're just about at that point where I'm gonna make my fire and science machine. Okay, so you want to cook your food. Something that some new players will make as a mistake is they cook too much of their food. More than they're gonna end up needing to eat. That's not really a problem for Walani, because as you can see, her hunger is higher than most characters. get our science on. Alright. First thing you want, obviously, backpack. Better than a thatch pack by far. You get twice as many slots. Then you're going to want to make a shovel. Shovels are important. Boat torches, not important for Walani. You're going to want a hammer as well. Though you don't need a science machine for that. You actually need to make, if I'm not mistaken, 9 rope. Because I think trail nuts need 3 each. Yeah. And you're going to want to make 1 board. The reason for making the board is mostly because Walani can make her surfboard right away, but to make the surfboard you actually need a board yourself. And if you don't know how to make them, you can only find them on these islands. Then you're going to want to craft a log suit, which you're probably not going to use, to be honest, but you need to know how to make one just so that down the line, when things go bad, you have a log suit, you know, able to be made. And once you make the backpack and all this rope, I wish I had actually been smart enough to, yeah, you don't need ashes. I'd been smart enough to cut down some vines before I did this, actually. But let's restock. If you don't want to carry around the board, you can always just create a sign, which will... Oops, I don't need this anymore. Which will keep it out of your inventory. So I actually probably should have just hammered this thing, but I'm a bit lazy, so I'm not going to. Now that I have the shovel. Alright, so the game plan here is I'm going to get all the vines and bamboo that I need to make a boat, as well as 2 trawl nets. And the reason for this will become clear if it actually succeeds. To cut down bamboo and vines, you need a machete, which will also be used to crack open your coconuts. I believe it's just 2 for the boat. Oh, no. It's the trawl net. Yes, 2 for the trawl net, and then 2 vines per boat. So I only need 2 vines, but I need 4 bamboo. Also just get more gold. And I need... Alright. Go and find our science machine again. and we can get things started. Oh, that's right. I wanted to make a thatch sail too. Damn. That means I need 2 more vines and 2 more bamboo. I believe I need... Oh, I actually need 4 more vines. Alright, so clearly I'm screwing up. But we can at least make these. No, I need 2 more bamboo. And 4 more vines. Which I believe there should be enough. So clearly I miscounted. Make your second troll net. Where did the vines go? I got pretty lucky that the prime apes went the other way. Oh no, this one follows me. That sucks. Okay. I'd kill this thing, but it's not worth the trouble. Because I'm gonna leave this island anyway. And we need 2 more boards. Make the rowboat. Perfect. And I do believe we are ready. Yeah. Alright, so take our hammer. Wait for this thing to move so it doesn't steal my crap. I stole a log. Oh, not the end of the world. And now we need to return to the starting island. So another great perk about Walani's surfboard is that, unlike most of the vessels... where'd it go? What? Oh, that was my old one. She can actually just, you know, hold her tools while she's riding, which means that she can surf at night with a torch. Other people, they can't paddle and hold a torch at the same time, so you have to actually stand still, or, you know, set your boat still, so that you get light at night, which can be an annoyance. I do believe where I'm going is straight. So eventually you're gonna probably just throw this log suit on the ground because you don't need it taking up the inventory space. But you can keep it until, you know, you're overloaded. Which I should be by the end of today. If I can time it right. We just need to find our way back to where that bird was. Oh, more lipids. Nice. That's convenient. Alright, here it is. So what you're going to want to do is hammer it down. Gives you a free boat repair kit. You can also hammer these down for the free boards, but it's not necessary. now that we have everything that we need, we want to rush to the deeper water. Here's a dolphin area. Dolphins are cute, and they help you out with things at sea, so don't be afraid of them. I apparently hit that wrong, which I don't think I did. So another thing with Walani's, she actually gains a bigger boost hitting waves on her surfboard than other characters do on any other vessels, or even herself on any other vessel. And what you're looking for is deeper water. That's no good. Appears I've been boxed in by islands. Oh man, if this delays it by a day, that's gonna suck. I think it is. Because I have to go past whatever island's over here. I'll just... use these as a pick-me-up. I'm not going to stop on the island because I don't need to. I really just need to find the swell, get into deep water before it's too late. Because the Quacken takes about half a day to kill. And you don't want to fight her at night if you can help it. Alright, this looks promising. There we go. Alright, now we put our boat down, switch vessels, equip our trawl net, and start dropping items. Oh, I think that was actually a mistake. Ah, whatever. Twigs work. I'm cutting it a little close actually with the time. I may just be better served to wait. Yeah, that's better. Oops. Oh, that sucks. I don't get really unlucky. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, no, 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 no. Alright. Unhook this. Get all my stuff back. And like I said, unfortunately, this is not so good with the timing, but... Oof. I think I can be done. Get a repair in. she? Oh, okay. Ooh, this is gonna be real close, actually. Oh! Ooh! Alright. Perfect. Alright. Now I actually have to do this. And stand still so that I can watch this. Alright. And we didn't get the walking cane. How terrible. That's actually just so bad. Not getting the walking cane is liable to just make you reset the game. Alrighty. Well, this was a good learning experience. And I think I will take this lesson to heart. Thanks for watching.